Hey guys, it's Rob here and welcome back to another video. In this video we do have some Nintendo Switch leaks and rumors to talk about, as well as some different Nintendo Switch updates, especially when it comes to Pokemon Legends ZA. There is something happening with the game that I think you guys should know about if you don't want to be spoiled for the game. And of course, don't worry, I'm not talking about any of the spoilers in this game because I myself haven't come across them yet. As always guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like and of course comment on today's topic or just like what you're playing on the Nintendo Switch 2. It does go a long way when you guys do that. And of course, subscribe for more. So the Nintendo Switch 2 has been getting a lot of great different games. It's not been 100% perfect, of course. Some people don't like the game key cards, there are some problems with the pricing, but overall it's been a pretty fun time, especially for me personally, because there are a lot of different RPGs releasing and it's been really fun, especially with Trails in the Sky. I've never actually played the series and this is my first time playing that and it's pretty fun. But when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, one thing that a lot of people do also enjoy, not just the games like the RPGs and of course the first party games from Nintendo, but they also like third party games. And it seems that Nash Weedle, a Nintendo insider, is saying some pretty interesting things when it comes to third party games hitting the Nintendo Switch 2. So over on Twitter, his first tweet was teasing out some third party games. It said, "One company, 2 sagas, 3 games, none new, coming soon to Switch 2. Now since then he has updated these and it said Leak Express, Remedy Entertainment, so a game from Remedy Entertainment, Max Payne / Alan Wake, Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake / Alan Wake 2, Switch 2. Now of course, as always, take this with a grain of salt. Sometimes these things can be right and sometimes they can be wrong. Just always go forward with that in the back of your mind, because a lot of times these things don't end up happening and sometimes you can get disappointed. But I don't think this is too much of a surprise. The Nintendo Switch 2 has been getting a lot of third-party support, from Cyberpunk to even smaller games like Hades 2, which has been really fantastic, by the way. It's been really fun. Let me know how you guys are enjoying Hades 2 down in the comment section below, but it's not really too surprising. I'm really wondering when these games are going to drop and when they're going to be revealed. Now, of course, this isn't the only thing he's been talking about. He's been talking about different things from the Metroid Prime series as well. He came out and said some pretty interesting things on that. Apparently, a lot of the Metroid games are supposed to be hitting, or more specifically, the Metroid Prime games are supposed to be hitting the Nintendo Switch 2. So it kind of got me thinking, well, does that mean Nintendo's going to be doing a Nintendo Direct very soon? Whether it be just like a smaller Nintendo Direct? Because it seems like there's a lot of third-party stuff going around, so is Nintendo going to do another third-party Nintendo Direct, which would be pretty interesting. But then I kind of got to thinking, well, think about the games that are already releasing, how many games that they already announced, and just the dates and stuff, and I don't think that's going to happen, because we have Pokemon Legends ZA, we have Metroid Prime 4 in December. I feel like holiday season, you know, winter is set up pretty well, so I don't think they're going to be doing a Nintendo Direct. If we do end up getting the Metroid Prime games, I kind of have a feeling that either they're going to just do a stealth drop or they're gonna end up doing it at a February Nintendo Direct. And as far as like the third-party games go, I feel like that would also be revealed in a February Nintendo Direct. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think there's gonna be a Nintendo Direct before February, or do you think everything's pretty much set up already and they don't need to market really much? Because there's also supposed to be another Kirby Air Riders Nintendo Direct as well. If you guys remember, that was announced during the last Nintendo Direct, so we're still waiting on the date for that. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Let's move on to the next topic. So there are Pokemon Legends ZA leaks going out right now. So Go Nintendo has an article with the title of "Beware of Pokemon Legends ZA Leaks as copies are out in the wild." Pokemon Legends ZA comes to Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 on October 16th, 2025, or at least it's supposed to. While the multitude of us will have to wait until the date to get our hands on this title, it appears that retailers are starting to sell copies considerably early, no doubt Nintendo and Pokemon companies' dismay. It's unclear if Pokemon Legends ZA has been ripped or leaked online, or if spoilers from early players have just made their way on the internet, but the end result is the same. Spoilers for the game are now popping up all over social media, and while Nintendo and Pokemon Company are sure to squash them, it's likely that they won't be able to keep up. In other words, please be careful where you visit online, as Pokemon Legends ZA spoilers could hit you out of nowhere. And all the footage in behind is just the trailers that we have already from the Nintendo Direct, so again, this is no spoilers at all. But yeah, be careful out there guys, because it could end up spoiling the story or just things that you didn't want to know about the game until you actually got your hands on it. And this really isn't too much of a surprise. This always happens with a lot of the big Nintendo Switch, and even the smaller ones. They always end up leaking out early, or sometimes companies break their street date, stuff like that. Things get sent early in the mail. You know, those things tend to happen with these newer Nintendo Switch games, so just be careful. With that being said, we do have a new update for a new Nintendo Switch game that was recently released, fairly recently I would say, Star Wars Outlaws. So there's a whole slew of new fixes for that game if you ended up getting that on the Nintendo Switch too. So My Nintendo News has an article and they list a lot of the improvements, and these are the improvements. Improved K's movement under certain conditions to look better. Under performance, they said improved stability and performance, which is always fantastic, especially when it comes to like a handheld game, or I guess ones that have a handheld option, I should say. And then under graphics, they say fixed a flickering issue with rocks on Tatooine. Fix the issue where some scenes would not display correctly when using the cinematic 21:9 display mode. Fix some broken textures, fix the issue with flickering when using game chat, improve textures and quality when resuming the game after a transition, improved textures of mountain ranges when viewed from a distance, improved sand and dust clouds visual quality, improved space graphics and shadows around the Trailblazer, and there's also a whole slew of UI fixes as well. Fix an issue with flickering on the equipment menu, fix an issue with directional button icons, fix an issue with the distant NPC could not be tagged when viewed through the electro binoculars, and a whole bunch of other great things. There are some stuff that says beware of story spoilers, so I'm not going to read that off. I'm not even going to read it myself because I haven't played it myself, but if you guys do want to check out all of the stuff, if you've actually played through the whole game, because there is a part of the article that does have spoilers, the link will be in the description. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. It's always great to see a lot of these Nintendo Switch ports get updated and end up running better and just having these little fixes here and there, because a lot of times it can ruin the fun of games when you do run into problems. Like me and my friend tried to play Warframe. This is on the PS5, by the way, but it still could probably happen on the Nintendo Switch because this has been a problem since apparently even back in 2017, according to an article that I tried to fix the problem with. But the Arsenal was bugged and he couldn't even edit his Warframe, so having these bugs fixed in any game is always a great thing because it can ruin the fun of games, you know, like Borderlands 4's frame rate issues, you know, that needs to be fixed. But yeah, let me know if you guys have noticed any difference on the game at all, or is it even worth picking up on the Nintendo Switch 2 or even playing, because I've heard a mixed bag from a lot of people. Some people say it's really great on the Nintendo Switch 2. Some people say it's bad. There's a whole bunch of different opinions on it. So let me know in the comment section below, because it is a game that I am curious on. I like Star Wars, and for the most part, I like Ubisoft games. And last but not least, I'm sure you guys have been keeping up with the Xbox stuff when it comes to just what's going on over there, and it's not looking good. So we got this new news recently, and apparently Xbox Game Pass has not done good to Call of Duty. So Modern Warzone over on Twitter says Xbox lost over 300 million in Call of Duty sales in 2024 by adding Black Ops 6 to Game Pass, according to Bloomberg. The lost sales are one of the main reasons that Game Pass subscription prices are increasing, despite Microsoft saying they would not increase post-merge. And I kind of feel like I don't know, man. I don't know what Xbox is doing. They're doing a lot of weird things. They're not making the best choices. It kind of feels like, you know what it kind of feels like? It kind of feels like someone who knows their company is going like head first into the dirt, and they're just trying to rinse people as much as they can before it ends up crashing and burning. That's what it looks like outside looking in. But yeah, they're not really making too much of a good decisions over there. I mean, I remember when the Xbox Series X was actually announced, and I was excited for Xbox, actually. I was really into actually getting into their ecosystem and playing the games that they had planned. I mean, they had Fable, they had Perfect Dark, they had all of these great things going for them, and now you fast forward a couple of years and we're not in a very good, I mean, they're not in a very good place. I'm kind of glad I didn't get an Xbox Series X, because I had to choose between a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, and of course the PS5's not perfect. Same thing with the Nintendo Switch 2, you know, everything's not perfect on that front either, but I mean, it's not as bad as Xbox, right? But yeah, let me know what you guys think about today's topics in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.